Hi, my name is Jemima Haruna, and I'm going to be talking about my internship in Geneva. Let's first start with talking a bit about Hotel Lido Geneva. Hotel Lido is a private owned independent 29-room hotel. It's located in Geneva city center and it's a 3-minute walk from Gare de Conovan. The hotel is a good match for your price as you get a nice comfy room with free Wi-Fi, a private bathroom, and noise-free, so you don't have to worry about the busy streets when you're sleeping or the noise from the weekend. It's close to the lake and other major shopping areas like Maneur, so it's good for business as well as tourists. I worked in Hotel Lido for 6 months as a cross-training intern, in which I did reception, housekeeping, and breakfast service. Now we're going to go into learning objectives. So my first learning objective was to use what I learned in opera class and apply it to the front office in Hotel Lido. So what I learned in Hotel Lido was how to make reservations, how to do check-ins and use the system in order to help guests book maybe restaurants, taxis, and other information that they may need throughout their trip. So, when making reservations online, we'd get an email. We'd have to print out this email. We had digital copies, but our hotel also liked to keep physical copies, so we have to print it out and attach it to the document for that month. All months had their own folder, so we put it in the folder for that month. Then we get an email containing the code number for that checking as well. So it usually just shows all the information that was in the previous email. So you can use that or you can use the paper. I personally prefer just using the paper. But you also use the code that's on the checking list and put it into the profile that you're gonna make. So you carry it out like a regular Opera one. You can check if the guest is already a previous guest because then they already have a profile there. We usually had lots of guests coming in from the UN, so most of it was repeats, just coming in and out, in and out, in and out. When you make the guest profile with the name, how long they're staying, what type of room, you have to get that's basic, it's same as opera. So you assign them the room, but also what you need to also check is the tax. So sometimes the tourist tax isn't always put into the system, so you have to make sure that the tourist tax was added. Then also you need to check the credit card number, whether everything matches up, and you also have to, very important, follow this up when the guest checks in. Always make sure it's the same credit card. If it's not the same credit card, you need to ask for proof that it is their credit card. You can ask them if they have like a picture of it, just to make sure it's the same number. If they don't have proof or the number, you can ask them to pay by debit card, cash, or if they have another credit card in which they can put. This is just for security, just to make sure you're charging the right cards and not charging another card to prevent fraud, and just makes things a lot easier in case there's any damages, to make sure that card is actually accepted. Hola, mi nombre es Jemina. Soy interno don la Hotel Lido. So, my second learning objective was to practice my language skills, or rather to expand my language skills. In my hotel, we were about 12 staff total, and most of them were French speakers. And I worked in cross training. And the ones I worked with in reception were mainly Spanish and French speakers. And the ones I worked with in breakfast service and housekeeping were Portuguese speakers. So it was kind of a lot because they're not all from Switzerland and from France, so we have different nationalities, different accents, different ways they say things. So following up when I got there was kind of hard, especially since they tended to explain stuff in either French or Spanish. So my first days actually, I had to get paper, and they would speak in French or they would speak in Spanish, and I used the little I learned from BA1 and BA2, and I used to write little notes on whatever they told me, and I had a lot of these notes. But at the end of the day, it did improve. It didn't improve my French speaking because I was quite shy to speak because I was always concerned about pronunciation. But it did increase my understanding. So as far as conversation goes, I'm able to understand better in French. So my French hearing has improved, which I'm glad about that. My French speaking is a bit comme ça. Je n'ai pas bien français. My Spanish understanding, I'm able to understand better in Spanish, which I'm quite happy about. And so I'm going to be taking a bit of Spanish here in my BA3. So for that reading as well, my reading my reading is okay because we'd be given some documents as well, and I would have to read it. And whatever I didn't understand fully, I could ask for translation or I could just use Google. I prefer asking for translation because they're more accurate than Google, because Google doesn't sometimes give you the best options, the words. But then again, I think I still picked up a good amount from my language. I'm quite happy with that. Although I regret not going fully with trying to speak better French. I should have tried more, to be honest, to speak better French and Spanish. But I'm still happy that my understanding and listening and my reading has improved. Maybe not as much as I would have liked, but it has improved to an extent. I will say that definitely. Okay, so my final learning objectives was to work on my teamwork and communication skills and working with other people effectively. And I'm quite happy about that because I did cross training. So I was working in different departments with different people. So you have to adapt to each person. And because it's such a multicultural environment, you have to adapt the way you talk, the way you act with these people, and it was such a good experience for me. And actually, and just was the one of the best parts about working there. I worked in reception, I worked in breakfast, I worked in housekeeping, and then I just did anything else. Because sometimes we finish work early and you just do anything else there is to do. So working in a reception was nice. Usually it's just two people, maximum three. So usually me and another receptionist. And it was it was quite relaxing. The receptionists were mainly French. They were working there while I was working. So it was nice to hear about your culture. We had a French Filipino part time worker. He worked on Saturdays and Sundays with me. So it was quite interesting to learn how they worked part time and also study there and learn a bit about cultures and everything. But the thing that we needed teamwork the most was housekeeping. Because usually it's two, maximum three people in housekeeping. So it was usually me and Rosa, or me and Ingrid, or me and extras. So people that come when Ingrid and Rosa aren't working, or we need more people for that day because it's really busy, or maybe I'm working breakfast and reception that day, so we have other extras come in also. And it was really interesting because you obviously there was a bit of a language barrier, but we're still working past that. Housekeepers, honestly, are the most lovely people I've ever met. They're caring, they're kind, they share, they help. It's really tough and exhausting. It's physically exhausting, it's mentally exhausting because it's not just making beds. We were in charge of cleaning the whole hotel. So we'd make the beds, clean the room, clean the bathroom. Yes, that's normal. That's normal. Corridors, breakfast areas, reception, we'd clean that as well. So taking things like recycling, which we had to walk up like 2 minutes, with heavy bags of recycling to the recycling center because we didn't have a big center for the recycling, so we had to walk to like the public recycling center. And we'd also have to order linen, so you have to be very careful about that. You need to check how many, if it's high season, low season, how many guests you've had last week, how many guests you have to check with reception, how many guests you're gonna have for the next coming days, and see how much linen you have to order because the storage space is limited. So if you order too much linen, the back area is gonna be full, and also the back area, when you take out the linen there, you also put the dirty linen from that day there. So every day you put the dirty linen at the back, and we get the new linen usually Tuesdays and Fridays. So Tuesdays and Fridays, you have to make sure you get all that linen out when it comes. You can do it the next day, but then it's just more work because there's always something to do the next day as well. Maybe Monday you clean the reception, so Tuesday when the new laundry comes in, you can take it from downstairs and put it in the floors. It takes a long time. It can take you up to 3 hours just to unload it because you have to move it from the one trolley to another, then in the elevators, then up into the floors, into each section. So that can take you a lot of time as well. And you, oh, so so imagine doing all that yourself. That's not convenient. You had to have a good system with the people you're working with. So we'd have a little, my manager actually used to come help us as well. We'd have a little, okay, we grab, we put, we grab, we put. It helped everything speed along. He'd come help, with moving the trolleys since since sometimes it's a bit heavy. So he'd come help, and you just had this dynamic where everyone's always helping in each area. In breakfast area, usually in the mornings or breakfast, it's just one person, either me or the other breakfast lady, Sylvina, and it's from 6:30 till 11. So from 6:30 to 11, you're the only one working breakfast. It seems easy because it's a 29-room hotel, but when you have like 30 people coming into a tiny area at the same time or within the same close proximity of time, and usually they come when it's just about to close, you have to refill and you need to go refill down, so you need to take the elevator again down and come up, and by the time you come up, something again is out. So sometimes it's also good to have extra people in housekeeping because when they're on a break, they can actually help you put stuff in the elevator. If you call and you're downstairs, they put some stuff in the elevator. So it was like a teamwork thing. It was, honestly, I believe my teamwork skills, fantastic. And I'm sure my manager will back that up. I more comfortable communicating with people now, and I think I'm able to understand more better how to adapt the way I talk, the way I act to fit people, just so I could get the best reaction possible for them, and just so when we're working together we are able to work efficiently, and as a group we're able to work as a team and not just people who have to do this together. And at the end of the day, it didn't make us a family, but we were kind of like friends, in not just in housekeeping but reception as well.